Hello guys, I'm back. My name is Jefferson Costa. I'm a chemical process engineer with expertise in plant design, and today I will talk a little bit about how it is to be a chemical process engineer freelancer. And I have been one of them for the latest year, and I will share with you how I did to get that, you should consider to be a freelancer, what kind of requirements, the benefits, the bonus and the onus and stuff like that. So it will be very nice if you have questions related to the subject in order that I can clarify as much as possible. And I will just share the link to this live session to my Telegram channel in process. And let's just wait for one minute or 2 minutes to people go in, and I will start with the live session, okay? Good evening, Hitesh. And who is at the first time here in my YouTube channel, please let me know where are you from, because I am Brazilian. I speak Portuguese, so Portuguese is my mother tongue, my mother language. So sorry for my English errors, my accent and stuff like that. But with this, I am able to reach a lot of people around the world, and because of that, when I decided to speak in English, I was able to have students from Mexico, from Kazakhstan, from India, and from Germany, and etc. So it is very important to know how to communicate in English. It don't need to be perfect, but as perfect as possible is always very good. Hi Trishita, I have many students from India, and it's very nice. And I also have a lot of followers from India in LinkedIn. So if you are not connected with me in LinkedIn yet, I recommend that you can find the links in the description of this video. And it is very nice to observe how engaged the Indians are with the chemical process engineering, but not only the Indians, in general, the Asia, there are a lot of people interested in chemical process engineering. Hi, Vini. Sometimes I short the names, right? Because Eastern names sometimes is very difficult to me to pronounce. So Vini, thanks a lot for being here from India. Trishita, final year. It's good to get familiar with is chemical process engineering, and my main objective in the internet is to share my experience with plant design. So if you plan to work or to get a job in plant design, I think that this channel and my Telegram channel and all my social media will be good for you to get familiar with that and improve your chances of getting a job, okay? So guys, I will not take too much of your time. So just to officially start. I will, Trista, I will. And so let's start. My name is Jefferson Costa. I am chemical process engineer with expertise in plant design, and in this live session, I will share with you how is the life of a freelance chemical process engineer. I start my career in 2007, and to let you understand how you can get a job as a freelancer, it's important to understand some concepts and some requirements, some needs, and some challenges that we face about that. And the first thing to start, we need to understand what is a freelancer chemical process engineer. And a freelancer is a person that is contracted to do a job for a company, but it is not a hired, it is not an employee. It is someone that is contracted to a specific job or a specific task for a specific period of time. And with that, he or she will perform the rules and the deliverables that must be done. And once that job, that work finish, the person usually goes to another project or goes to another contract. And with that, there is not a direct relationship, a job relationship between the freelancer, or sometimes it is called consultant. Most often it's called consultant. It's a relationship of contract. It's like business to business and not like company to person. So there is advantage in this kind of contract, and there is advantages and disadvantages, and I will try to clarify to you today what they are. So, and just let me be a little bit smaller here. Okay, right now you can see my LinkedIn channel, my LinkedIn profile, sorry. And to start with, to be a freelancer, we need to have some requirements. It's very important to understand that most often you will not finish your graduation, get a freelance contract, because there is something that you must know about. And I will, first thing first, I finished my graduation as a chemical process engineer, and I didn't get a trainee program in a company, and the training that I got was in a water treatment from a municipal government. So I was an employee of the municipal government, and that in Brazil it's a requirement that we need to have some time of as a trainee. And once I got my graduation, I expended around 1.5 years to get a job. So the first thing, not thinking about be a freelancer right now, but the first thing to you proceed to a career in the chemical process engineering field is to have a strong mindset. That is my personal vision about that. So it is very important that you don't give up, that you keep looking for opportunities to work with plan design. And I will focus on plan design because that is my expertise, okay? I'm not familiar with research and development, and I have a little bit experience in operations. So when you get your first job as a chemical process engineer, most often if it is in a big company, you will have people around you that is more experienced, and with that you are able to develop yourself slowly, because you will work more with verifications, you will do simple tasks, you will follow the seniors in the field if it is the characteristics of the company and of the job. So you are more comfortable to develop yourself. And one thing that I recommend you, once you get your first job or even before that, to develop a career, is to get specific courses related to the area or the field that you want to work to. For instance, if you plan to work with operations, and operations there is much related to the get better efficiencies for the plant. In my point of view, you should look for Six Sigma and lean manufacturing courses or certification, because with that you have a better vision on how you can get better results for the plant production. And better result means that you produce more with less cost, or you produce the same quantity of products with less cost, and you will be always looking for improvements in the process. And that is a different point of view when you work with plant design. The plant design, we need to deliver what is the scope of the project. We look for improvements, in internal improvements, but most often or usually we don't have enough data to compare the field information with the design, and that is the main difference in the operations. In the operations, we know the real data. So if I increase the pump flow, if I decrease the pump flow, or if I increase a temperature, decrease a temperature, I can see the results. And based on that, if you have a vision of how to do the improvements in the plant, you can propose solutions. And in the first years, if you already have a job, and if the master degree gets too much time, and some in Brazil especially, the master degree gets full dedication, I don't recommend you to get a master degree. But if you can get a specific course related to this the field of your area, I think that is very important. Because two things. The first thing is that it will refresh your memory with important information or important subjects related to the work that you are doing. And the other thing is that you will be able to increase your network. And network is a very, very important key when we are talking about being a freelancer. And another thing about the first job is that you shouldn't look for the highest salary. The 1 to 3 years between this period, the most important thing that you must looking for is for experience, to get to learn as much as possible in your job, because that is very, very important to be a freelancer if you need to be one in the future. So my tips when you start in your career is get courses related to the field that you want to work to. And if you want to work with operations, there is a set of courses that you need to focus on. If you want to work with plant design, there is another set of courses that you should focus on. If you want to work with R&D, it's another one. If you want to work with business, so each field or each area demands specific skills that are needed to do the job. So how you can map that? You can map that if you go to the company's website and look for the open positions, and you can find the description of the job, the requirements, and etc. So that is the way that I recommend you to starting doing this kind of research. For those ones that want to work with plant design, most of these can be found in my website, in my Telegram channel, in my LinkedIn. I always sharing information related to the chemical process engineering, plant design, and how people can improve their skills in this area. And my students or members of my training program has access to more than 20 job descriptions related specifically to plant design. So if you are not a student of mine, no problem. you can go to the websites and of companies websites and look what is important to work with plan design. But to give you a spoiler, you need to know the heat material balance, and when I talk heat material balance, it's everything that is related to that: pump size, heat exchanger, distillation column, separators, and etc. And how to integrate that. You need to know how to read and develop drawings, and there is a lot of drawings that we need to develop during plan design. We need to do the process and the specification data sheet for a lot of stuffs, and we need also to have a process safety or point of view in order to develop safer systems and safer process. And if you are able to improve your skills in these pillars, you will be closer to get a job as a chemical process engineer. So, okay, you get your first job, you work it to guarantee 1 to 3 years of experience, because that is very, very important. If you are in a big company, you will maybe, probably you will have some mentors or some senior people that are able to help you, but most often we get a job in a small company. That was my case. And as you can see my LinkedIn profile here, my first job, it was in a IPSI company. It named was PCE Engineering, and I start my job working as the chemical process engineer responsible for the detailing design of a petrochemical, a polypropylene debottlenecking. So I was hired as a junior engineer, as a fresh engineer, and I was supposed to have a senior to guide me, because I didn't know anything when I finished my graduation. I was not familiar with pipe instrumentation diagram. I didn't know what was process data sheet and specification data sheet. I learned about the heat material balance, but I didn't know how to get the results from the heat material balance to add to the plan design. And as I didn't have anyone to guide me, I needed to learn that all by myself, and that was hard times, because we have a representative from the polypropylene plant that was supervising us. In fact, he was a kind of assessments to us, and to my luck, as I was able to build a good relationship with him. Although I was not from his company, he guided me in some ways, so I learned a lot with him, and that was possible because I have social skills enough to build a good relationship. So that is another point that is very, very important in your career, because if you are not able to build good relationships, to work as a freelance engineer will be much, much harder, because it is important to you have results, but people that will recommend you, people that will suggest you, people that will consider you as a freelancer must trust you and must willing to work with you, because if you don't, anyone wants to work with you, it is very, very hard to get a freelance job. So once I get this guidance, and of course it was not a full guidance because we were from different companies. Sometime later, I was invited to join this company, and it was today it is known as Braskem, but at that time was another name. And the Braskem supervisor was responsible from the the engineering department in Braskem in that time. So he asked me to work with them, and that was when I get my first job as a consultant and as a freelancer chemical process engineer. And that's why, and it was this way because the Braskem is not a design company. It is a production company that is responsible for producing polypropylene and polyethylene, and depending on the market that they are responsible for basic chemicals or secondary petrochemicals. And as the the core business of the company was not engineering, they hired 30-party persons to help them with small projects of improvement. So if the operation identified that it would be possible to improve the performance of a system, for instance, adding a control valve, so I was responsible to evaluate that, to update the pipe instrumentation diagram, to do the process data sheet for quotation and something like that. And as a small department it was a big company, but the department was small because it was not the core business of the company. And once again, he was in another location when the project finished. He was from another location, and I started working alone again. And now my responsibilities increased, and I needed to learn new kind of skills in order to perform my job. In this time, I was in the contact with suppliers, and that time my English was worse than it is today, so I needed to talk with people for new technologies in the USA or in the Europe. And that is why it's very, very important to you be able to communicate in English. Because when we are in the chemical engineering area, the technologies much often is not developed in our country, mainly if we are in the development country like Brazil and South America as a whole. So most often the technology will come from the Europe or will come from the US, Canada, and something like that. And with these new roles, as I was the chemical process engineer working with plant design, I needed to improve my skills in the project management area, because we need to understand what is important to start a project, to develop a project, and how to finish a project. And just to let you some spoilers, I have specific videos here in this YouTube channel to talk about that, but we need to know that how to evaluate the scope of the project, and that means that there is a problem and we need to solve the problem, and that problem must be translated as a scope of the project. Because in plant design we don't want to deliver less than our customer wants to, but it's not desired to deliver more than the customer needs, because there is a relationship between the scope and the cost of the project, and as much cost there is a project, the return, the incomes will be lower in the period of time. So it's very important to us deliver what is really necessary to our customer. And beyond that, we need to handle to schedule, because if you have a solution for a problem but it takes 5 years to be implemented, depending on the kind of the problem, it is not desired. We are not talking about research and development. We don't have too much time to solve problems. When we are doing plan design, we need to get the technologies that is available in the market, choose the best one that fits to our problem, and use that to finish the project. So this kind of experience builds your skills, and that is very, very important to you to work with as a freelance engineer in the future. So that's why I covering that, not in details, but in order to understand what is really important to be a freelancer. Just a moment, please. Okay, so once you the and after that I went to Praxia, and now it is a lead engineering, and there in fact I started working in a engineering company, because the lead engineering, there is a strong department related to the operations, but they also have a department related to engineering, and as it is core business, it is more, you have more resources to develop your job. And in this time, I was able to work not only with the detail engineering that was my previous job, but I was able to see all the concepts of a project. So we need to start with the conceptual design, and in the conceptual design is where we look for kinds of solutions that is possible to be applied to the problem. And once that is one of them is chosen, you start doing the basic engineering, that is preliminary or basic the documents needed to do the detail engineering. And during the detail engineering, we have deliverables that allow us to work the equipments, the control valves, PSVs, and etc. And once they are about, there is the plant erection. If we are talking about a big project, yes, about a big project. And once that is erected, we need to do the commissioning, the startup, and in many cases we need to do the plant performance. And once that is finished, we deliver the plant or the units or the system to operations. And for a period of time, we need to support them to solve the issues, because every project there will appear a kind of issue to be solved once it was finished. And with this, what I want to share with you is that before getting a job as a freelancer, we need to build your knowledge as much as possible, because the freelancer is not supposed to need assistance from senior engineers. You are hired to solve problem because you already all the knowledge needed to solve the problem. So I expended, for instance, I spent 7 years in the Praxia, and once I finished my contract I was employee in Praxia, but because the crisis, I was fired, and I saw myself without a job. And that was a time that I need to decide if I was looking for another job or if it was time to be a freelancer. And that is not a easy decision, because we feel comfortable when we are in a big company, because it's something that is bigger than us, and if you are in a good department, you feel like you are in a family and people help each other. And when you starting working as a freelancer, you need to have a different mindset. You need to worry with different issues, because now you will have a short period of time. You will have a specific contract to work with some in a project, and once that ends, it's not guaranteed that you keep working for the same company. You need to look for other companies. And how you do that? The person, when you are freelancer, they will hire you if they trust to work with you. It's not too common to ask that for you have unknown person to do this job, because you are talking about confidential documentation. We are talking about delivery time schedule, and if I cannot trust you, or if I don't know how you work, it's harder to believe that we will be able to do the job. So when you start your career, since not before your first job, it is very important that you build the strong relationships and network, in order that eventually, when you need not only to be a freelancer, but also to shift from a job to another, you have people that can recommend you to fill that open position. And many of the jobs that I got up to this point was this way. The first job was not my boss needed a person, and I was at the right place at the right time. But you can see that when I went to Braskem, it was because as a third party, as a freelancer, the supervisor of the company look for my skills, and he trusted me to help him in their activities. And when I went to Praxair, a friend of mine was supposed to fill this position, but at the final interview, he gave up from the position, and he suggests me to be his substitute. So I get a shortcut, and I went to the final interview, and with the skills that I already have, because my previous job, I was able to get a job in Praxair in that time. And once I left Praxair, 6 months later, I was invited to my ex-boss to go to the China to perform as a freelancer to the Shanghai office. And it is because he already know my job, he already know me, he already know my commitment as a chemical process engineer, and this way I was able to start in doing freelance jobs as a chemical process engineer. And I returned to Brazil, and I get some other contracts. One of them was to aluminum plant, and in this time it was based on a previous curriculum that I left to the company. So 10 years later, they asked me to talk to me, but it was based on a contract, a freelance job, and it was because it was a very short contract that they won, and as he needed a person to do the job, I get this kind of opportunity. And after that, I went to a natural gas company, and it was because the manager, the engineering manager, already know my kind of job. Also, he was from Praxia in a period of time, and although we didn't work together doing the same thing, we didn't work together, they had references about my person, and that was very, very important to he believe and trust me to join the company of his new company as a freelancer. So I expended 1 year work as a freelancer, doing my best and doing relationship, and because of that, right now he hired me as a direct employee. And now I'm working not only with the plan design, but I will working also with operations. And in the periods that I was a freelancer, the benefits of being a freelancer is that you have more flexibility to build your time, and because you are not an employee, so if you work one day you will gain for that one day, but if you don't work you will not gain. That is very, very common. So there is no holidays. There is if you don't work 10 days for have vacation, you will not receive 10 days. So it's much harder to deal with your finances, and to be a freelancer working with to be a freelancer, it's very, very important that you have a good relationship with finances, because you need to understand that today you have a job, yesterday tomorrow you cannot have, and you need to know how to handle that, and something like that. So let me take a look in my notes here. And some challenges related to being a freelancer is that, first thing, your contract is for a period of time. So once it finished, you need to look for another contract or another company or something like that. And you need also to be able to spread the numbers of people that know you and that are able to reach you, because if when you spend too much time in the same company, you will be very, very restricted to only those persons that will know you. And if you left the company and people stay there, it's harder to then recommend you to other job, because we already left the company. So that's why it's important to build a network, and LinkedIn is a very place to do that. And moreover, you need to look for marketing and sales in order to be able to deal with the contracts, to understand what is the benefits and the malefits of being a freelancer. And guys, this is it. Let me see some questions here, and I'll do my best to answer. Hitesh, I will open registration for in-process booster in two weeks. So I don't know if in March or April if that will be open, but if you are in process and in my newsletter, you'll be notified about the openings of the in-process booster seats. I have a question from Patel. Please, idea of product design engineer. Our college has 100% placement. Patel, I don't know if I don't know what you are looking for. To work as a freelancer to a design office, we not talk. I am not talking about building a facility. I'm not talking about inventing anything. Okay, I'm talking about selling service. So your company needs someone to do the project, the detail engineering of a project, and if you have the network, if you have experience, and if you know how to contact these people, you will have the chance to get a short contract in order to work with them. So this is it what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, I have another question here. Hash, one of the less discussed area in plan design is the scale-up. Design and distillation column are well established on contrary to reactor scale-up and their hydrodynamics. Any thoughts? And this kind of research and development is done in the research and development. That's why it's research and development. So when you go from the laboratory to the pilot plant into the scale up, there is a lot of issues that you must consider, not only because the economics, but because also the safety. So that before doing transporting what is in the lab to the industrial plant, there is a lot of research, and the research is a very important part of developing new technologies, for sure. And what we do in plan design, the chemical process engineer that works with plan design, they are responsible to implement that and develop the documentation that are needed to build the plant at the field, to come that to real life. And in design office, most often we don't get involved with scale up. The scale up you'll find that in licensors, and it starts, or it is born in the research and development department. I know I know that there is some few books that talks about that. I don't have the names right now, but eventually, if I get in touch with them, I will let available the references in my Telegram channel in process. Hitesh, what time will you get the access of the course? The standard course usually is 2 to 12 month access, okay, Hitesh, but I will do a live session to talk about the course in 2 weeks, in order that I can clarify any kind of question related to that. So just to not take the time that people that are interested only in the freelance subject, okay? Thanks a lot for your interest, and I will do a live session in a Saturday, and only to talk about in-process booster and the open seats to the training program. So guys, this is it. And if you have some other questions, it would be nice to have. I will try to answer that. And the challenge to be a fresher, to be a freelancer is there is a lot of challenge to be a freelancer, but if you have the experience enough to be one, it is related to the employee. It is normal that the freelancer it is normal that the freelancer gains more and has a higher salary or has a higher incomes, and that is normal because you are exposed to more risks. You are not an employee in many countries. There are strong regulations when we are talking about employees, about the contractors. Is that is not the same, it is different. And that's why sometimes the very senior people becomes consultant or freelancer because the company don't want to pay for their knowledge, and they get too much expensive to the company to be as a employee, and these very senior people decide to become freelancer or consultant because now the company can contract their service looking for the fees. It is cheaper, but they can pay more for the consultant because some taxes can be avoided, and of course that depends a lot in the country that you are, okay? And in the other hand, as the senior has a lot of experience, and if he grow up enough his network, he can get much more contracts because much more people know him, know his expertise, and with that it's easier or less difficult to get new contracts, because you observe in the engineering world that it is very small, and it's not you don't have any benefits creating challenges with people in chemical engineering, in design engineering area, because today you are in a company, but another day you can go to another one, or when you need to left your company, someone can suggest you to another boss and stuff like that. So my recommendation is to work as a freelancer. You don't start working as a freelancer because no one knows you. You don't have experience. You don't have networking. You don't have anything that is attractive to the companies to hire you. You need to have experience, but only experience is not enough. You need to have networking, and with networking and with experience you can start to get your first contract as a freelancer. But if you add to that the marketing, you will spread to much more your name. And let me give you a example. I am a consultant and I start sharing my experience in the LinkedIn, in the internet now, in YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, and the chance of people recognizing my expertise is much higher than if I was in the Praxair only work with my colleagues. And this is the kind of vision that you must have to work as a freelancer, because now you are your own company. You need to build your own brand, and to build your own brand is not an easy task. There is a lot of work to do, and you need to continue to perform your daily tasks if you already are working, and you need to add more or extra work to try to spread this information to the world or to the society. And that's why this kind of this kind of activities is not for everyone. Okay, guys, I took a lot of your time. Thanks a lot for being here. And if you have additional questions, feel free to send me in the LinkedIn and also to send me in the Instagram. Here you can see my webpage, jeffersoncosta.com, and I have a free course to talk about plan design for chemical process engineer, and it is for free. You just need to register and you get more than 7 hours of free training. And if you want to connect with me, you can find the link to my YouTube channel, my Telegram, my LinkedIn, and also details about my training program in process. In 2 weeks from today, around November 19, I will open new seats for my training program, and that's because I will complete 1 year of the Telegram channel in process with more than 2,100 people inside there. And finally, you can find my blog where you can clarify some questions related to the chemical process engineering plan design. So this is it. I hope you like it, and I'll see you soon in the next live session. Bye bye.